What do we have here? We got the TS483, I think it is.
TS483 Part 2!
And we got one of my favorite little shop tools here. I mean, it's kind of a big, fat shop tool, actually. It's the reciprocating spindle sander. And that's what I did a lot of the work on this guy with. I deepened up this trough here, this choil, I guess you'd call it, right here. This kind of guard area. I deepened that up because I like it to be a little deeper than it normally is. And then I also made the titanium even a little deeper than that so that the lock bar could have better access. And then that's also what you do these little internal bevels with. You'd use the same machine for that. And then I use this skinnier sanding barrel to make the choil a little bit bigger, the actual sharpening choil a little bigger, because it needed to be just a hair bigger. Let's see, what else did we do on this one? I sanded all the way around the outside of the frames with one of these guys, probably the much bigger one of those, to give it a nice texture around the edges there. I think that's all we did with that one. Listen to that sound, man. This thing sounds so freaking good now. Something about after you anodize titanium, it just has a little more nice clanky sound to it. I got too many tools on this table, too many grinders, but if you see this little harpoony end on it, it used to be a kind of a bulbous, kind of a humpy looking thing like this. And we ground that down, starting out with this guy. This guy works really good for taking off a lot of metal fairly quickly, all right? And then I finished it up on, I think, this guy here, kind of making sure it was nice and flat. And then finish it up this way on this one to give it this nice kind of finished top on it. The little fuller area there was just too slippery. The angle of it wasn't quite right. I didn't really change the angle, so I didn't do anything with that. But what I did was I put a bunch of these little dimples in there, and these dimples were cut with this little diamond bit on this Dremel. And once you cut all those little dimples in there, it makes it so each one of those little dimples is kind of like a little friction point that will catch on your finger better, so you can actually, you know, use your thumb to open it, not slip right out. And actually even thumb open it fast, and even reverse flick it with a little bit of effort. It's still, you still have to be careful and get your finger in there and put some pressure on it to reverse flick it. But before, it really wouldn't reverse flick for crap. I forgot, I did one more thing on the spindle sander. These rock grinds here, on this surface here, I did on the spindle sander. So I was holding it up against here. Let's turn this thing on just so you can see what it looks like when it's on. So that's what did all these little grind marks here. Those kind of rock grinds there. Holding it this way. Going pressing and then lifting and pressing and then lifting and pressing and lifting like that. And then same thing with these little grinds on the back of the clip and on the back of the backspacer there. And here's what we do the polishing with. Here's how this got like this kind of a nice polish to it. On this grinder, I have two different wheels on it. One is sort of a soft polishing wheel, and the other is a pretty hard polishing wheel. And I just use some of these little dealies you get from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Let's see, do I even have the package? No. Anyway, it comes in a pack with different colors, and the different ones do different things. I usually just use a brown one for most everything, and it comes out pretty good. Well, better not as good as that, because that was a flubbed front flip. But man, this thing front flips so nice. Has such a nice sound. So good. Let's see, did we do anything else? Oh, that's right, we anodized it a couple different ways. For electro-anodizing, which is what some of this is on here, there's lots of fancy things you got to do about cleaning it and etching it and doing stuff like that. But when it comes down to it is, after you prepare it all the right ways, you got to put it in this tub full of water that has some kind of an electrolyte in it, and you have to hook an electrode to the part, and then this foil bit sits around it in the water, and you can't have those two touch, but they interact through the water and anodize the titanium. And that power is produced by this Dumaflachi right here, and you adjust at different voltages, and that gives you different colors of titanium on there. And then also, we use this guy right here. We just use this torch and heat up the titanium, and that accomplishes a similar thing, except once you get it heated up, you know, it will turn colors and anodize and oxidize basically, but then when you dip it in ferric chloride, it kind of gives this cool lightning anodizing effect, which is what lightning anodizing is. It's heated up titanium dipped in ferric chloride, and it causes these cool shapes and patterns. So that's basically the steps it takes to get a fully customized Tucson TS483 that's worth way, way more than it originally cost. I mean, it's worth, you know, probably a few more bucks than you could buy a standard one for. But that's not what it's for. It's not for making it worth more money. It's to make it one of a kind. It's to make it so that not everyone has one like yours. You know, very few people are going to have this rock grinds, and you know, nobody's going to have this combination of rock grinds and colors and expanded choils and all that kind of shit. So you have, you know, this kind of customized one-off piece with weird little dimples in the fuller. So that's the kind of shit I do, and that's how you get a customized 483 like this one, the baby hippo, the Tucson baby hippo is what I call it. So I hope you enjoyed learning all about what goes into making a customized knife. Have a nice day.